Hi, welcome. I'm here today to interview four of my favorite people about athlete leadership. And this is one of the things that we are celebrating as part of Special Olympics Oregon's 50th anniversary. It's a really important part of who we are today and really where we're going in the future. And so joining me today, we have Shawn Hinz, who is the chairman of our Athlete Leadership Council. He's also on our board of directors. We have Thomas Seeger, who's on our Athlete Leadership Council. We have Jenny Hill, who's on our Athlete Leadership Council. And we have Joe Harvey, who is on the Special Olympics Oregon staff, but was really integral in getting this program launched and works closely with our athletes every day. And then you have me, Britt. So welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. And I'm going to kick it to Shawn first, and I have a question for Shawn. You've been on the board of directors for several years now, and in 2018, you were a part of the very first launch of our Athlete Leadership Council and accepted the chairman role for that. Tell me what it meant to you when the idea first came up about having a formal council just for athletes.
Well, it was really amazing. I'm gonna have to admit because when the idea came up to me, asking if I wanted to do this, I was like, well, heck yes, I want to do that. And then when the athlete leadership actually came to life, it was exactly what I envisioned it to be. Being the voice for the program and advocating for the athletes within the program. So it went exactly the way I envisioned it. I think it's really amazing that how much that we grew even during COVID. It's just been amazing experience so far.
And Thomas and Jenny, talk to me about your experience with athlete leadership over the last few years. Jenny,
It's
why don't you go first?
it's been a great opportunity to see what we can come up with and what we need to do to get our program up and rolling, especially with the cover right now. It's kind of hard to be in person doing meetings, but doing virtual meetings is a lot of fun too, just to see people's faces who I don't get to see much anymore. But it's been a good experience for me, and I really enjoy doing it.
How about you, Thomas? What does it mean to
Uh,
you?
I think it's a great thing that we're doing. Usually because I see a lot of people from the tri-counties in like regular status, and they always ask me questions, and I always feel like great that I answer their questions. And I definitely enjoy hanging out with all the AIC people, and definitely fun stories from our meetings.
I'm remembering a meeting that we had. It was pre-COVID, and I think it was probably during the first year that the council had been launched, and it was at a hotel in Lake Oswego, maybe, or Beaverton.
Like that, yeah.
Beaverton. And we're all three of you at that. I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yes. So think back to that meeting when you were just getting this group pulled together, and we had no idea what the road ahead would look like, and nobody had even heard of COVID at that point. And think about all that you've accomplished. Is there a memory, and I want to go around the circle, is there a memory that stands out for each of you, like a meeting, something you accomplished, a challenge we tackled that means the most to you?
Being able to figure out what Special Olympics needs in life to be fulfilled with.
And Jenny, you told your story on Capitol Hill Day recently. And so that was a big moment for you.
Yes.
You got to meet with senators and representatives. What was that like?
It was awesome. I felt like I got to meet new people from a different place I've never got to meet before. and talk to them about Special Olympics and getting the word out there, because I don't think anyone out there really knows what Special Olympics really means. And so trying to share the word about it is kind of a great opportunity for people to jump in and be a shining star.
You said a lot of people don't even understand really what it means. I think a lot of people think that they know what Special Olympics is, but then when you start to talk about, you know, the age ranges of the people we serve and it being statewide and the different sports and the different programs and just there's so many layers to what we do. And I know that was one of the things that you enjoyed being able to talk about, because you've been an athlete for how long now, Jenny?
26 years.
26 years. Shawn, how about you? How many years?
Here's about
How many years were you an athlete?
about 13 years.
13 years. Thomas, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's about the same as Shawn.
About the same. And Thomas, I remember one of the things I remember about you, one of the many things that you've been involved in. At Nike Youth Games, you took the lead on some photography experiences, right? Do you remember, or was that the Summer Soccer Invitational? I think it was the Summer Soccer Invitational that I'm thinking of. Do you remember?
Oh, the guy with the camera, and he said, "Hey, do you want to give it a try?"
Yep.
And I was
And
like,
so you were able to shadow him and bring stories to life. What's that like for you, being able to be a storyteller and kind of shine a light on different athletes and their stories and being a voice for athletes?
I think it means definitely a lot because, you know, it's just like fun experiences to do with everyone. And if you ask me to tell a story about Special Olympics, I could probably tell you a billion.
What is, if you had to think of one of the most challenging things over the last couple of years, being an athlete leader and somebody who, you know, you really speak on behalf of so many athletes, like, has there been anything over the last couple of years that has been scary or where you felt a lot of pressure? Like, I've got a big role and I want to make sure I do justice. Like, is there anything that's made you a little,
I mean, definitely when our teammate got stuck in Tacoma, and I was basically like the in between. So like he would contact me, and then I would let the coach know, and then they were able to get him on a bus to get here so he could still play in the tournament.
he made it?
Yes, he made
That's
it.
awesome.
It was a very, very like close one, but he definitely made it.
How did you keep your cool in that situation?
You know, I was just the ears and I was just the listener. I just like contacted the right people and people got back to me.
That's awesome.
The right place, right times.
Joe, you
Thomas,
have your hand
just
up.
quick. So you're on our DEI task force, aren't you, Thomas?
Yes, with Gene.
Yes, yeah. What about your work on that and everything you're doing on that? How do you feel about that and everything you're doing in Special Olympics related to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Oh yeah, I think it's a great thing. They're definitely asking me a lot of questions, and I feel like we're definitely making some progress here. I think they said something about they had like a survey thing going on, and we're gonna use that in our next meeting.
Why is it important for you to be on that task force?
I think it's important because they always need athletes, and you know, I feel like an athlete's voice is always good, because I especially thought it was really good when we would meet in our county meetings. Yeah, and just having an athlete like there saying, "Hey, maybe this wouldn't really work," or "Yes, that would work." Funny.
Shawn, you serve on our board of directors and you have for several years now. Tell me what that experience is like for you.
the experience is pretty cool. I think it's really cool to see what's really going on within Special Olympics. We talk a lot about money. Money is a very interesting topic, and even though I don't know half of the time what we're talking about, but it's really neat to have a say just in case they need an athlete's opinion. That's why I think it's great that there's two athletes on the board because they can always turn to us and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Or, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And then we'll give them our feedback. And I think that's just I think it's a good thing. And so far, the experience has been really, really, really great.
So recently, well, with COVID, we've had a return to activities task force, and it's a group that's been meeting to try to, on a month by month basis, really make decisions and evaluate how we get athletes back to in-person activities safely. And there's so much that goes into that. And we rolled out a plan recently, and you were the person on the board who raised your hand and challenged it and said, I should say, before we rolled out a plan, we asked board members for their advice on, how do you feel about this plan? This is the direction we want to go. And I remember you raising your hand or I think you emailed me and said, hey, I've reviewed the entire protocol that you're recommending. And it was something about basketball, as I recall, that made you a little bit nervous about our plan. Do you remember that? And I was impressed that you took the time to review everything. You had a very strong case for what made you concerned, and you had a recommendation for us to consider. Talk me through that and what that meant to you.
So I'm pretty serious about COVID. I read a lot about it. My mom is, she majored in public health, and I'm studying about public health. So I think, Special Olympics Oregon has done a very good job at, keeping our athletes safe and making sure everything is done correctly. And so I was reading over the plan, and there was just a couple of things that I thought, maybe we should, not forget about these things because we still want to keep our athletes safe. The last thing we want is one of our athletes to get COVID and die from it. And so
exactly my thought.
And I just wanted to give a recommendation. I wasn't trying to challenge it or anything, but I just wanted to make sure, maybe this might be a good idea, and I wanted to back it up. I didn't want.
And the research you provided was from, you looked into what OSU was doing, I think within their rec center, their rec leagues, and we actually ended up changing course a bit based on your feedback and recommendation, which I think just speaks to the value placed on the leadership from our athletes. And that for me was a moment that really stood out because, we've got a board of over 20 people, and it just shows how much you do contribute to that group. And I know we do spend a lot of time talking about money,
Yeah.
But I think you're actually pretty dialed into most of those conversations as much as any board member. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Talk to me about, Jenny, your internship. So you actually interned with our office.
Yes.
Pre-COVID or during COVID? It was actually didn't it eclipse both?
Yes.
You did a lot of work remotely.
I wasn't working at the school, and I was laid off for a while.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, let's see what you guys have for me to do. And so I jumped right in, and I helped you guys out with everything you needed, and I love it.
You worked primarily for Joe, right?
Yep.
How was Joe to work with?
He's awesome. He's amazing.
What's the best part of working for Joe?
Getting to learn new jobs that I haven't done before.
Do you think that Joe learned anything from you? I know he's going to say yes, and I want to hear his answer, but I'm curious, what do you think Joe probably learned from you?
That I'm a hard worker.
Joe?
No, she's pretty lazy, actually.
Oh,
No.
Joe.
No. Not at all. No, of course, like I feel for me, every time I work with the athletes on the ALC or the internships or whatever projects we do, I'm constantly learning like how much grit that you guys have and how much that even if things are falling apart, like or looking scary, like you guys just keep going and you make us better as a staff to keep offering higher quality programming. And you guys don't settle for anything less, which I think is really, really important. So yeah, it's pretty great to I kind of view you all as my boss in a weird way, because if you're not happy with it, then we're not going to be happy with it. So that's how I view it. So you all got a ton of grit and you keep me in place. So thank you.
How was Jenny to manage?
Jenny is probably, and I think Shawn and Thomas was probably one of the nicest people on earth. So she would do anything and she done it with passion, and she wanted to make sure that everything was done at 100% heart. So that is always really nice to work with someone who really wants to make a difference. So that's Jenny.
I really want to make a difference in Special Olympics, and especially showing other athletes this is what you can do. Don't be afraid to do it. Jump right in. I did it. You can do it.
And I think that's a really important part of athlete leadership, right? Is recognizing you've all been with this program for over a decade, and many more years actually than that. And there's a lot of athletes that are young kids or even adults who, or I should say there's a lot of people who might be young kids or even adults who just have never experienced Special Olympics before, and maybe the idea of participating in a sport or joining a team or getting involved, it can be scary, it can be intimidating. For a lot of people, that's stepping totally outside of their comfort zone. Go ahead. No, I would love to hear your thoughts on how you help to inspire people to do that.
When I first started with Special Olympics, I was kind of a little freaked out coming out of my comfort zone, but once I got involved, I wasn't scared. I was totally in it, doing it, making new friends, helping people out as much as possible, and really being honest at the input council and getting the jobs done and making sure people are satisfied with everything and making this program run smoothly. Because
that's so awesome.
We all need each other right now during this COVID time.
Thomas, what advice would you give to somebody who has never experienced Special Olympics before?
Use your voice. Definitely don't be afraid to go out there and make a new friends. And always respect your teammates and your coaches.
What if somebody's never played a sport and they're thinking, I'm not athletic, or I'm not talented in this, or I don't know if I'm going to be any good at it. What would be your words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom would be trust your coach. Your coach will help you. And just go out there and have fun. The worst thing you could do is not do good, but it's going to be okay. Everyone will still cheer for you.
And be brave in the attempt.
Be brave in the attempt.
Be brave in the attempt. That's exactly right, Jenny.
Shawn, you have been afforded some really cool opportunities outside of athletics and leadership to showcase your talent. You have performed on national calls for Special Olympics and showcased your musical talent. You've performed for us at Special Olympics Oregon at different events. You've hosted our Breakfast with Champions event. You've done a lot with media. Tell me about what that's like for you to be able to, you're obviously an incredibly talented athlete, but when you get to do things outside of sport and inspire through other mediums, what is that like for you?
Well, it's definitely a lifetime experience, because I think without Special Olympics, I wouldn't be doing all these cool, amazing things. When I first started Special Olympics, it was just doing a sport, just doing swimming. It wasn't about trying different sports like basketball and golf and all those other sports that's in Special Olympics. And then it got to the point where, I can do like leadership stuff. I can go out and do motivational talks or advocate on behalf of Special Olympics. I didn't know that, so that happened. And then you get to lead a group of athletes, not just within Benton County, but all around Oregon. Who have the same passion, that same drive. They want to make Special Olympics and give that same opportunities to other athletes. And then on top of that, I get to do what I love, which is like music and videos and photography. So I think it just shows.
You're really good at photography. That's for sure.
Thank you. I try, but it just shows you just how much opportunity has that Special Olympic offers to athletes with intellectual disabilities. Because outside of Special Olympics, there's very rarely you ever get those amazing opportunities to really get out there. So hopefully, all the things that I get to do, I'm not just doing it for myself or just for my family, but I'm doing it for the other athletes there to hopefully show them that this is what Special Olympics is about. They're meant to grow and give you opportunities and just make you the best person that you were meant to be.
Love it. Thomas?
Oh no, I was just saying that I actually have to get back to work.
That's totally fine. Before you go, really quickly, has this impacted your job? Like, are there things and skills that you've taken from Special Olympics that have helped you with your job?
Definitely the leadership part, because I definitely work with a lot of new people,
Awesome.
and I definitely make sure I needed to be there to help the new people out and make sure we don't fall behind.
Awesome. We won't keep you, so A-okay to get back to your job. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Bye guys, it was good to see you all.
Good to see you.
You too. Bye, Thomas.
If you have any questions for me, just text me or whatever.
Will do. Thank you so much. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Jenny, I'm going to give you a follow-up question on that because I know you have worked in the school system. Tell me about how Special Olympics and your job maybe has Special Olympics helped prepare you for some of the work that you do in the schools? And
it's helped me out a lot. I've learned a lot of new skills working in a school, especially being a lunch lady. I've learned to meet new students who come in the lunch line. I make new food. Right now I'm serving specials. Tomorrow's teriyaki day. All the kids like teriyaki. And then Wednesdays is bean and cheese enchilada. And then Thursdays and Fridays are the same.
nice.
So we kind of rotate different foods.
That's awesome.
Basically we go through our school nutritionist because she's coming up with these new things for the kids to try because they won't eat much.
They're kids.
But we do have like nachos and burgers and whatever else we can find to.
That's awesome.
So, and I also serve breakfast every morning, and
I bet you're somebody that everybody just looks forward to seeing in the lunchroom, and like that moment in the day where they get to kind of just relax and hang out and unwind. And then there's Jenny smiling. And I think Joe hit the nail on the head. You are kind. You are just kind to everybody. And you know, I think about some of the kids in school who maybe just need that in the day, like just that friendly face.
When I'm at the school, the counselor, Bob, really nice guy, comes up and gives me fist bumps all the time. Says, how you doing? You know, how's your day going? And yeah, it really makes my day go better, and we all get along. And I love my coworkers. They're really sweet people, especially Mariah. She's down to earth. She shows me what to do. I get it done.
Which school are you at right now?
I'm at Leslie Middle School.
Leslie Middle School.
I like it there. I've been there for quite a while now, so I
I
think
feel like you've gained a lot of confidence. I feel
Yes,
like you're so confident.
I've gained a lot of confidence in this job that I have, and I've really enjoyed working with Sodexo. It's been a big part of my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Shawn, tell me about when you think about the next few years, you know, like maybe look at 5 years down the road with the Athlete Leadership Council and just Special Olympics Oregon, what would you like to see?
There's a couple of things. The first thing is I hope that there's a lot more athletes on the
On the
council.
council.
Thank you. Just because it's a great platform for it, because there's so many athletes out there that I know that have that great leadership skill. Just like Jenny, who's up for anything. Like I would literally give her some work. I'll be like, hey, I really need you. I need someone to do this. She would be like one of the first people who say, oh, I will do that. I got you. So those are the
I always have you back, Shawn. You got to know that.
Thank you so much. Well, those are the athletes that I'm looking for, and I know there's a lot athletes out there that would be amazing to join the council. Another thing is, we're still kind of new, especially with COVID. It doesn't really help our flow, but hopefully when we get back to it, our flow will be a little bit better. It's still
Exactly.
it's still a new thing. We're still trying to figure out, our ways. So hopefully, next 5 years we'll get it down. We know what we're doing.
For in-person meetings, right?
Yeah, in-person
Exactly.
meetings. Yeah. So that's another thing. Yeah, those are the only things I can think of right now.
Do you feel like you guys have, so when you think of Oregon, it's so different, right? Like there's so many different pockets of Oregon. You've got downtown urban areas, you've got high desert, you've got the mountains, you've got central Oregon, you've got like, rural. There's so many different living experiences and
Yes.
stories, right? And so do you feel like with the athletes on the Athlete Leadership Council that there's pretty good representation from the whole state? Or is that an area where you want to get more going forward? Like when you talk about growth, what matters to you?
I feel like right now it's a good start. It's not quite where I really want it. I kind of want to, grow to those different pockets that don't get that a lot of attention. The athletes that we really need to hear from, because basically the athletes are working with their shoot, I'm forgetting the name.
Local program
Yeah.
coordinator.
Local
Yeah,
program
local program
coordinator.
coordinator.
And that's how, that's the key thing, is just communication with the athlete program coordinator to the athlete council member to the state to the board, so they're all connected. So the more people that we have on the council, I think the better.
Yeah, I agree with Shawn. The more people, the better.
But right now, since we're just starting out, I think we have a good number right now.
Awesome. Joe, what do you see in the next, because I know you're very dialed into the national organization and, really understanding what the best practices are from around the country. What do you hope to see for athlete leadership?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so I'm going to give you a long-winded answer to that. I think when I look back at when the ALC was created, it started just as we had our financial crisis. Like the week me and Shawn went to Chicago was the week when we, staff was laid off. We, everything that could have gone bad went bad, and we were in Chicago that week.
Good time to be in Chicago.
It was better than being anywhere else in Oregon at the time, for sure. But it felt so strange to be setting up a new program during that time, and it was really hard for myself to kind of comprehend what I was doing. But when we started the training and we kind of went in the room, we met the other states, it was probably by the end of the first day that I realized this is probably the best time there could ever be to be bringing in an athlete leadership council to Oregon, because it was something that we've always had athletes involved. We've never really given athletes a channel, to have their own voices and being directly communicating with us. So it came at the perfect time. And I think when you go back and look through the last 4 years, we had the financial crisis, we've had COVID, and the ALC has always been active through it. Not as active as we would like, but we still meet regularly, not as regularly as we would have done. But I mean, there's still some meaningful engagement, and we're still hearing athletes' voices, and they're still connected to their peers and sharing updates and concerns and answering questions. And I feel that is so important. So I think over the next couple of years, like Shawn said, I would love to see it grow. And we are looking at bringing on 6 new people in April. Alex is a contractor with us, and Alex has just started working alongside me and the ALC, and we'll be supporting Shawn to kind of help with the day on, like hands-on tasks. So I think I want to see it grow, and I want to see someone from each local program on the ALC. And I want to see more meaningful ways that we can get involved and evolve over the next coming years. But I look back and I'm like, considering everything we've been through, what an amazing start, and amazing to see where it is today. And I think it can only get better. So I'm kind of excited for the unknown. Like what's it going to look like in a year's time, and what new, as we're bringing back sports and regionals, how can the ALC be involved in the actual sports and competition side, and making sure that our mission as a sports organization is carried out. So very, very excited to see that. And again, I mean, like, how amazing, like I've seen like 12 of the athletes on that council grow, like, like everyone has grown so much. Shawn, like considering where you were in 2018, like, like everyone, like staff knew you, but you weren't kind of like recognized amongst all athletes. And now you're like a celebrity, like you're doing things in Special Olympics North America and Special Olympics International. Like to see you grow from that has just been so amazing. And Jenny, like the work you've done, the internships, like your polar plunge, your fundraising, like you've been a super plunger. Like it's all so impressive that you guys now are so involved at a different level than just being an athlete. You're now a leader and a mentor. So yeah, really, really impressed. So great to be working with you all.
I love that, Joe. And, one of the things we talk about as staff all the time is that we want the athletes to be at the center of everything we do and every decision we make, which would seem obvious considering what our organization is, but it's easy to start looking at something and just, if you're only talking to a few people around a table and to start going down a path, and then to not have that input and guidance and feedback and ideas and collaboration with athletes, then all of a sudden we could be going on a path, creating something, thinking, hey, this is a great idea. They're going to love this. But I think there've been a number of times over the last few years where, because we have this group and can bounce ideas or just, kind of vet things, and we're, we may have been going this way and we turn a little bit, or we go in a different direction, or we think differently about something. And, I think in every single area of our organization, our athletes have been truly at the center, whether it's our marketing efforts, rebuilding a website, what programming we're going to offer. Soar Active, the virtual platform that we created out of COVID. I mean, you guys both been leading content on that. What's that, Jenny?
Soar Active has been a lot of fun doing that.
Oh my God. And I love following your cooking tips and shows. And I know you've done so much with that. And what a cool connection between your job and Special Olympics is just nutrition.
Of cooking, my aunt has sent me like kiwi boxes, and they have like different recipes I can try.
Wait, what kind of boxes? What are they called?
Kiwi boxes. They're kind of like a hands-on activity box.
Oh, very cool.
And
That's
so
awesome.
she sent me some different things for me to try to cook, because she knows I work in the kitchen, and so.
That's so cool. Yeah, you guys, it's been, I love SOAR Active and just being able to stay connected with people. And, you know, Shawn, I know you've done DJing of dance parties and different interviews. And Jenny, you know, you were like our poster child for Dog Days of Summer, you and your dogs, and just a lot of
Actually,
engagement.
my coworker made this for me in honor of Brock.
That's awesome.
I love that. That was,
Awesome.
yep, that was the ad. Oh, that's so cute. Well, you guys are the best. I appreciate you so much. I'm really excited to highlight athlete leadership as part of one of our many amazing 50 stories. And I think it's one of the most important, as we've talked over the last few years and just looking at our direction ahead. I don't know if there's anything that, and when I say that I'm proud of it, I have had very little to do with creating it. I would say, you know, Joe and the two of you and other athletes that have been working on this for a few years now. I'm so excited with what you've created, and it's so important and so valuable. And I don't know that there's anything that we talk about more with donors and sponsors and board members and just all of the different people that are part of our organization. Athlete leadership is truly at the heart of all of what we do. And so hats off to both of you. Is there anything you would want people to know about Special Olympics or leadership before we wrap?
Yeah. I would like them to know that you're welcome anytime to do Special Olympics. Don't be afraid to do it. Jump in, have fun, make new friends, be a shining star. Be who you want to be. Don't
Love
let
that.
that get the best of you.
And jump in as an athlete, jump in as a volunteer. Like, you know, I think there's a lot of people who could benefit from this organization in any capacity, right? And
Exactly.
you know, whether that's as a
They can
coach or an
benefit
athlete or
from it
what.
Majorly. This has been a big benefit for me, being an athlete and being involved and being on an input council. And I'm really proud of myself for how far I've come with all this in my life. And
As you should
I
be.
think
Miss
I'll be
Jenny.
going places with this. I
Awesome.
kind of see a future in my life here. Hi. Sorry.
That's so great.
Sorry.
Aw, big hugs, girl. It's awesome. Appreciate you. Shawn, any parting words on your part?
I would just say, warning: Special Olympic is addicting. Once you join it, you will never ever want to quit. You will take
Exactly.
years, and you will never be able to quit Special Olympics.
I'm never gonna quit it.
See?
That's awesome.
Not until I get old.
There we go.
All right, everybody, hands in the huddle. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Woo!
Awesome. This was great. I appreciate you guys. If there's anything that you think of that you want included that we didn't cover, feel free to shoot me a note, text or email, but this was really great. And I think all of our fans and supporters will really enjoy being able to watch this interview and read about it as well. So thank you for everything that you both
Absolutely.
do, and Thomas too.